Start right now.
Assalamu alaikum. I'm glad to be out with the fruit today to enjoy a little tea and brotherhood. And the brother said he wanted to ask some questions. I'll do the best I can. Let everybody know who's here. Assalamu alaikum. Assalamu alaikum. I'm going to do a short interview. So y'all want to sit up a little, and if you have questions that you want to ask, you can. You know, everybody say who they are.
Bro I'm simple number 12.
Brother Rahman Ali, I'm simple number 12. Assalamu alaikum.
All right, sorry.
Yes, sir.
Brother Captain Kwadu Salah, Muhammad Temple number 12.
Brother Sharif Muhammad, simple number 12.
Okay, I wanted to see if I could be the orientator real quick, Brother Minister, and be the interviewer real quick to ask you a few brief questions. We got a lot of things circulating now in Muhammad's Temple or in the Nation of Islam.
This is in your shot. You might want to scoot a little closer.
We got a lot of things going on in the Nation of Islam. One is that it's another temple here in Philadelphia, and we wanted to see if we could get some information about that. Are they in good standings, or are they even associated with Muhammad's Temple of Islam and the Nation of Islam and the believers?
No, sir. That is a temple that decided to do things on its own. And it's my understanding that actually the temple folded and they're no longer there. But I've been getting a lot of bad reports. I think something about selling of items and believers didn't get the money or the results. But I would say that Allah is ever with the righteous. So make sure when you join onto a house that you're with a group of believers that's going to have your best interest at heart.
Praise be to
And that's
Allah.
not to put down them, because any effort to bring the messengers teachers forward, certainly we respect that. But it's got to be right. It's got to be right.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. The other question I wanted to ask you is because I heard somebody make a statement about that, you know, they're big in the land and they're doing big things, adding on additions, and I wanted to know if they doing this, getting this money honestly. Are they out selling Muhammad Speaks? Are they baking, having food cook-offs and stuff like that? How are they getting this money? I mean, they must be doing a lot of work.
Actually, it's been my experience, brother, that most of these large temples and people that you see adding additions and things like that, they are really spending the devil's money. They have something that they call 501c3. And you can put an application in with the devil for a grant, and the devil will give you all of the money you need to do anything you want to do, as long as you don't teach certain things. Now, you will notice most of the temples that do have the devil's money and are really making what they call real fancy temples and things like that. Very seldom do they teach on the white man. Very seldom do they teach on separation. And they really have to add a lot of things in. But I hope they are all aware of this, that if you take that 501c3 money, you have to let the devil in your temple. And if you don't let them in, they're going to definitely take that 501c3 money from you, and you can end up being put in prison for fraud. So I hope they understand. But when you see most temples that are selling the paper or selling dinners or bean pies, usually it's not a fancy temple. But usually you find more love and sincerity in that kind of temple, because they are really doing it themselves. See, the messenger said, do for self. He didn't say, let the devil do and you front. You know, like you did it. He said, do for self. So we had to take the messenger at his word.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Well, we have young fruit. We have young fruit right here between the ages of 15 and 16. We got another young brothers in here in his mid-20s. We got Brother Rahman. He's a young brother. And we going to hear from him a little bit. He's on fire. He was teaching a good lecture today. But my main reason for having this I wanted to get an interview out real quick because it's a lot of things floating around, you know, that's not in order with the teachings of the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad. It's a lot of believers, a lot of people claiming that they want unity, and they're doing a lot of things to go avoid unity. They're dealing with different temples that's falling and folding. We got brothers, I think you get calls in all the time about how things are folding and not going in order, and things are just not right. They you know, I think, can you share a little bit about that?
Yes, I can. I had one brother call me. I'm not going to call the temple out, but I'm sure whatever believers in that temple know that this temple was taking money to sell candles. They had believers selling candles, and the money was supposed to go towards the temple or something. And we learned later that the money was stolen, and the believers are very angry. And this particular brother that called me is really outraged about it. And, you know, he calls me quite often. But like I say, I'm not going to say which temple it is, but if you can read between the lines, you know.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
But I say this to you. Make sure you join on to a temple that's sincere about the work of Messenger Elijah Muhammad. Don't get yourself caught up in something that, you know, is just a front, you know. And as far as unity is concerned, when we see additional temples opening up in cities, we should ask ourselves, why didn't they go to the existing temple? You know, why, you know, if the temple already existed in the city, why, and you are really saying unity, you know, why didn't you go there and support that temple? You know, support the minister in that temple. And so be careful who cries disunity, and make sure they're not the ones that's really dividing us. It's easy.